everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you 7 entrepreneur hacks which you are going to want to take into 2022, apply, and they will make a huge difference to your entrepreneurial journey. So stick around, perhaps go grab a cup of coffee or tea. Let's sit down, let's talk about it, and let's really dive into how these 7 hacks will dramatically change your life in the year 2022. Okay, so hopefully you've got your cup of coffee or tea and a pen and paper you're going to need, because we're going to go through 7 hacks. I've done them in order of importance to myself. A lot of these may relate to you, but perhaps the order is slightly different. But what we're going to do is we're going to go through and we're going to look at why these are so important, all 7 hacks. And the great thing is we're in November right now, and we can start preparing with the mindset and the attitude going into 2022 that we're really going to hit the ground running. So let's start by looking at hack number 1, and that is the most important to myself is mindset. So having the right mindset is so important, because we are in a day and age where we are bombarded on social media, all different kinds of feeds that we look at the first thing in the morning and before we go to bed, where it can really have a mindset shift, and it can be for the negative, which is not what we want. And what I mean by that is it looks like everyone's doing very well all the time, and that's not the case. That's just kind of face value or what is put out there on social media. It looks like everyone is a business owner, it looks like everyone is a millionaire, and it looks like everyone's doing it in their early 20s. We all know that's not reality. We all know that's not what's actually happening. It takes years, it takes hard work, dedication, and so forth. So the mindset of that is we need to really filter what we're looking at, perhaps whether that's removing certain people that you follow that have high amounts of that in their feed, whatever it might be. It's the mindset shift of this is going to take time for you to see success, or however you see success, that is, whether that's financially or within your personal life or family life. And it's really understanding that if you go slower than someone else, that's fine, and there is no race. This is your own journey, and you should be competing against yourself, not anyone else. So that's number 1. It's the mindset shift of sitting down and really understanding what you want. And I always say rest, recover, and reflect, and those 3 R's should be happening quite frequently. So that's number 1. To me, that's the most important. Number 2, that is health. So we need to be investing in our health for the short, medium, and long term. How can we do that basically? Well, that is by working out, eating clean, making sure that we're really looking after our body, mentally and physically. Mentally tying into the mindset as number 1, but we need to be making sure that we are giving the best chance to have longevity, so that everything we're going to do around our health, financial, investments, building a business, it's stressful. Everything that we need to deal with on a daily basis, we can deal with so much better if our health is in a better condition. So, working out regularly, whether you can do that 4 or 5 times a week. I like to work out 6 times a week if I can. That's not a given. I would say 5 times absolutely every week for an hour in the morning or in the evening, whenever it may be, whatever works best for you, is that you dedicate time to really focusing on your health. I personally know really successful people, and there's a trend that the really successful tend to be quite healthy people. That's not saying that everyone's an absolute machine and everyone who's gone on to see success is very healthy. It's not. But if we look at where society seems to be going, is that health is a big part, working out is a big part, especially on social media. So if you can combine the 2, what does health do? If you're really healthy, it increases on productivity, you feel better, you have more energy, you're able to perform better. So why would we not want to do that? We MOT our cars so that they can stay on the road, so they can last longer. We need to be giving ourselves an MOT and really looking after mental and physical health. So that is number 2. Start working on a plan going into the year 2022 on how you're going to improve your inner performance, and that's by, for me, working out. Number 3, this is a very important one, and something that I've certainly focused on more towards the end of 2021 as I've become a lot busier, and that is time, management of time, not only within your personal life, your business and family life, and it's separating and really getting a good balance of your time. There's a saying, don't look busy doing nothing, and that basically what that means is, don't be booking in meetings that have no outcome. Don't be sitting down having hour phone calls if there's no outcome. Really looking at where is your time time best utilized, and what ROI are you getting on that? And what I mean by that is, return on time invested. And that's one of the reasons why I deleted Instagram, is because I was really looking at the time I was investing as a consumer and also creator and what I was getting in return. And it just turns out that it wasn't enough for me to continue it. So what I did is I gained 8-9 hours back a week. I don't have meetings that don't generate me anything. I don't have meetings just to say hello to someone. Although I love meeting and networking people, I wouldn't just have a meeting just to kill an hour's time where neither of us get anything from it, because my time is too important elsewhere, whether that be in my personal life, family life, or building my business and working for clients, or even making my own decisions. Never look busy just doing nothing, essentially. So time, start managing your time. And if you want a good recommendation for a diary, I use Action Day Diary, which can be found on Amazon, and I'll include a link below. There's no sponsorship there. Number 4, that is your circle of 5. This is really important to me, who I spend time with, and most importantly, I would say the 5, although that's very generic, circle of 5, I would say who's your closest, whether that be a circle of 5, circle of 6, all the way up to 10, perhaps more. I put it in my recent book, Self-Education Equals Success and Income, and I title it Circle of 5, Trim the Fat, lean up. And what I mean by that is, are you carrying dead weight that essentially is holding you back from achieving your goals quicker? Now, what I do want to say before I dive into this is I'm not referring to, those friends that you've had for years. They don't necessarily offer your business value or your net worth any value, but they're just friends that you've had for years. I'm not talking about trimming those off and getting rid of that as dead weight. What I'm referring to is, do you have someone that's perhaps a bit negative in your group? Someone that doesn't have vision, but is within that circle? If they weren't within that circle, what would you lose from it? Evaluating, are they an important part of your journey and going forward, and will they eventually add value? Or ultimately, perhaps they don't support you, perhaps they're negative about things, perhaps they don't look up and try and see better things. If you do have someone like that, I would say very casually, and perhaps over a period of time, just start distancing yourself, because your circle of 5, or however many are in your close circle, they will play such a huge part to your growth. If we can evaluate before we get into 2022, who's going to play a really big part for you to get to the next level, I promise you it will speed up your journey to be around those that will help and will be positive and support you. So that was number 4, circle of 5. Number 5, it's time to sort out personal finances. So every year I do a review of where we are, what we achieved, and where we would like to be for the next 12 months. And I always do it in a realistic way. There's no point setting an expectation that is just unrealistic, because I may set myself up to fail. Now, there's 2 sides to this coin, and that is always aim big, go big. If you don't shoot, you won't know if you hit miss or you score, that kind of way of viewing it. But ultimately what I do is I review my personal finances. I set a target, a realistic target. If I go above and beyond, brilliant, I'm really pleased. If I hit target, fantastic. And if I'm a little bit below, I'll just review why I'm below. Or perhaps there was progression in other areas that didn't allow me to hit my personal finance goals. Perhaps the digital assets, the branding, that the products took off, but the financials didn't quite meet that target. That's absolutely fine. But looking at personal finances, I'll always look at reducing my outgoings for the following year. Can we live on less and invest slightly more? Can we cut down on certain things? Can we make smarter financial decisions? Can we increase on savings? Can investments be upped? What other opportunities on the horizon? Money management as a whole, how much can we sort of really tighten things up to ultimately aim towards that financial freedom in however many years, we want to set that. And for you personally, whenever you want to be able to retire, give up, perhaps take a day off, whatever it might be, really looking at your personal finances and start prepping this before you go into 2022. Number 6, that is investments. So what investments are you running right now? How can you improve on them? How can you start to look at new opportunities? Have you got the best stocks and shares ISA? Can you diversify? Can you add something into your index fund? Can you perhaps add something to the portfolio? Have you bought stocks that perhaps aren't performing, but perhaps if you get rid of them and you purchase another stock, whatever it might be, but looking at your investments now, performance of it, start start looking at what they've done. Do they have growth? If not, can you make a shift going into 2022? What's going to be hot and what's not in next year, basically? So that's the things that I'll kind of look at, is the investments now, what's on the horizon, and how can we make a shift to really increase our performance in our portfolio going into a new year. Number 7, that's side hustles. It's never been easier to start a side hustle than now. Everyone is starting businesses. That's certainly what it seems like, but it's harder than that. It's knowing what business to start. So you've got to be passionate about it. You've got to understand it. And what I would say, rather than trying to start multiple side hustles, my recommendation would be find something that you enjoy, that perhaps you're good at, niche down on it, and then really go hard on it and try and generate the biggest income from that side hustle as possible. And then work on that all on your spare time. Put in the hours. If you have to do a few hours during the night or early morning, so be it. But really launch a side hustle, but perhaps focus on one. Don't try and spread too many, because then the likelihood is you'll probably hit a wall. You'll probably get demotivated and you think, screw this, I'm not doing it. So pick one side hustle going into 2022, focus on it and really try and increase the income. And then what you do with that income as well is look to pump that into your personal finances, your savings, or increase on your investments. So those are the 7 hacks that I would start looking at going into next year. And let's just have a recap. Number 1 is mindset. 2 is health. 3 is time. 4 is circle of 5. 5 is personal finances. Number 6 is your investments. And number 7 is side hustles. And I've done that in an order of importance to myself. And I start all the reviewing process now. So when come January 1st, I can hit the ground running. I know exactly what I'm doing and what parts of my life I'm going to be working on as an entrepreneur and someone who is looking to build multiple businesses. I hope this video has helped. It's a bit of a chat between me and you. Any comments below I would appreciate. Do like and subscribe, and until the next video, I will see you all very soon.